Yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead, I have no way of knowing. But under my feet, baby, the grass is growing. Yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to get going. Well, I want to take some time today and just show you my portable shade setup for the GMC Safari or Astrovan with the rack that's up there. It's really pretty simple. There are just a few things that you're going to need, and I'm going to talk about it. Part of the reason this is important is, like right now, I'm at the Snake River in between Washington and Idaho, and it's 95 to 100 degrees. And if you look around, there are a bunch of trees. There's one little one over here I'm taking advantage of the shade of, but most of the way around here, there are not many trees, and especially right here where I am. So I want to give you a little bit of a heads up. I'll mention in another part where I got the shade material. I ordered it off of Amazon. There's a specific one of a proper size. The poles are actually, oh boy, I'll really mess you up here. Anyway, the poles are from Walmart. They're just extensions for, like for painters. And I think the brand, it's just called an extension pole with an internal lock system. And so you can set your size. The brand is Premier right here, and I have two of them. And I had to make a modification. I'll show you that later, just a slight modification. The shade cloth that I purchased is this particular one. It's about the same price as I paid for it. But if you notice down here, there is a coupon that allows you to get another 10% off if you purchase it. Notice the size also. This is 6.5 feet by 10 feet. That ends up being perfect for the application that we're going to use it for. You may be able to find other shade material that will fill your needs, or you may have some sitting around, and that's fine. But this is highly recommended, and it has worked very well for me so far. And so this is what I suggest that you look into. Another thing you're going to need are these bungees. They are the circular ones, round like this with a knob on the end, and those are for connecting up to the top of the rack or whatever it is that you want to hook it up to. Right here, you got to find a place to anchor it. There's the knob for this, okay, and it goes through the eyelet there. And there are 3 places on the shade material that have those eyelets or grommets, I guess they're called. And so you use those to hook it there, hook it to the roof. As far as the poles are concerned, both at Walmart and Amazon, the prices have gone up quite a bit. I paid around $10. I thought I paid less than that, but 3 years ago. But anyway, I was able to find them online in different places, but you probably have to pay shipping for about $15. The reason that I used these types of poles to start with is because they were cheaper than going with the Amazon route of getting adjustable poles that could be used with a tarp. As it is now, it could be that those adjustable poles that you find on Amazon would actually end up being cheaper, and you would need to. Plus, with those, you would not have to do the modification that I did with these poles. Another part that you're going to need is this. It's a paracord, but it's a guy wire for that goes from the top down to the anchor points that you have. And I chose this particular paracord because two things: it was cheap and it's also very bright. And I'm not very bright, so I want to be able to see where the guy wire is so that I don't walk into it. Notice I have this one hooked up to the table that happens to be here. Okay, and I'll talk more about how to do the actual installation later. So I want to show you the end of the hole. You notice that I added this screw to the end of it. If it'll focus, let's go. Come on, focus. Maybe my hand being in there. There we go. Okay, and so that's only about less than ½ an inch that's there, but that's so that I can put the shade material grommet over the end of it, and it rests right on here. Okay, and then I can add the wonderful figure-8 slip knot. Let's see if I can do it without everything falling apart. And I loop it over here, pull it taut, like that. Then I can take this side and set it up to the tension. Okay, well now I'm going to attempt to show you how to tie the figure-8 slip knot. Okay, it was short end here, the long end over here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to cross it over, and leave myself a little bit of edge here. I'm going to go under and pull it around like this, then over like that. Now I'm going to go underneath this loop here like this and pull it taut. And if you can see, it kind of sort of looks like a figure-8. Okay, so it slips and it slips. And the cool thing is that when you want to straighten it back out, you just hold on to one end, and boom, it pops out. Alright, now I've got a diesel running in the background here, so it's making a bunch of noise. But anyway, I want to show you how to make the taut knot, or the tension knot. Okay, so you're going to start here. You're going to go the same way we did with the figure-8 slip knot, where you cross over first, but instead of going all the way under, you're just going to come up and go through the circle there, like that, and then through the circle there a second time, one more time. Okay, so it looks kind of like that. But then we're going to go on the outside of the circle, crossing all the way over, outside the circle, and go around like this, and pull the knot through. Okay, so it looks something like this. And however you need to do to tighten it. So again, this is the side you can tension, this side will hold it. That's the way to tie the knot. And this one, though, you have to untie. You can't just pull it like the other one. And this is going to be a figure-8 slip knot. So I'm going to show you the tension knot. Holding onto the tension side, this is the knot side, and you see it slides like this, holding the tension. And when you pull more on it, it'll hold it. And you can even put more tension on it like that and let it go, and it stays. I want you to notice something about the guide wires that we have here. Notice that they're at an angle heading off this way. They don't just come straight down, but they come off at an angle, almost a 45-degree angle, because there needs to be tension on the pulling this way and tension pulling this way in order to keep this angle right here nice and straight and taut. And so they need to be at an angle. You can see how the whole system is set up with the tensioner, etc. And your figure-8 slip knot will go on there to originate, And then you have a stake in the ground, or as you saw, I also connected it to the table that happened to be right there. But these are all at an angle again. And this is what it'll look like underneath. It creates a decent amount of shade, depending, of course, upon the angle of the sun. And um, it I'll show you in just a minute how well this holds up in the wind. So of course I wanted to give you a heads up on how this worked in the wind. And a really good wind came up a minute ago. Obviously a really drastic wind is going to tear just about anything up that's sitting out there, but if you notice the way the poles are moving, you know, as this kind of light breeze is hitting, it rolls in and out on both sides, but they still stay erect. The whole thing depends on the tension on each part of it. And I'm going to hold here and see if we're going to get another one of those gusts like we got a minute ago, so you can see. The point about it working well doesn't mean it's perfect, but it does mean it's not just going to fall down the first time there's a wind. And if there's a horrible wind, it's very easy to take down, kick the bottom out of the poles, each of the poles, and lay it down. And that pretty much will take care of it. I'm going to pause it here and see if we can get a really good gust in a minute. And I can hear a good one coming through the trees. And there, it's moving pretty good. It's not as drastic. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah. I want you to notice also that there's just a small area of shade, like right here. It's very small, but it's enough that you can sit in. I'm sitting under the tree right now, but the way the sun angle is, just giving you a small amount of shade there. The way you increase that would be to lower the height of the poles. You lower the height a bit, and that makes more of an angle for the shade come off the van, back this way. It'll give you more shade. You won't be able to walk under it, but you'll be able to sit under it. Now, this is a pretty good test. This, you know, I don't know how fast these winds are going. There we go. That's pretty good. Maybe we're going to see it get ripped off, ripped down. Let's see. I've never had it tested this way. This will be cool. Well, it's still standing, and I'm not disappointed that it is. I'm pretty happy. So anyway, it's pretty. I'm pretty happy with the whole setup.
Far away from your troubles and worries, you belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere